Business owner, and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact, and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back to Amplify Your Marketing Message. Do you know what you want out of your business? That seems like a really obvious question to start with. And yet it is one of the most hotly debated questions I ask my potential clients, my friend group, and myself on the journey of creating a business. And that's what we're going to be tackling on today's episode. Some roadmap to navigating the clarity piece, which is the ultimate accelerator to achieving that dream. When I first started my business back in 2018, it wasn't like day one, I had all the answers. In fact, it had been a long time coming. I knew from my early age that I would start to create my own business. I did have a vision from a young age that I would create something for myself. I would employ other people as part of that, and that I would create the kind of change I wanted to see. And leadership was a big part of that. However, the details were always fuzzy. And when people would challenge me and saying, Christine, you talk about creating something for yourself. What's holding you back? And the answer I always gave, perhaps you can relate to, which was, if I knew what I wanted to create, I would go do it. And I was openly challenged by someone I greatly admire who said, do you really not have the answer? And truthfully, it wasn't that I didn't have the answer. It was that I was scared to vocalize it, to commit to it, and to go all in. And that's what I see in my peer group. And perhaps that's what you honestly know about yourself. But when I ask the question, do you know what you want? There is a kernel, a nugget, a fire, a spark somewhere inside of you that says, yes, I have been waiting for you to ask me that question. And when I work with clients, one of the very first questions we spend quite a lot of time working on is that vision piece. What do you want? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And one of the most important aspects to that is to strip around the box of construct of what does it look like in terms of the nuts and bolts, because you are so much more than a job title, a business name, amount of money that you can create. And when we start to say, well, I want my business to have this name and I want it to create this amount of revenue, those feel really artificial. And they don't connect to our heart, even though they might connect to our mind. And it is the heart that is where the spark lies. I often tell people, and I take people through a 10-question exercise when they first onboard with me as a client, that really goes down to, how do you want to play? When we strip back the labels, when we strip back the income, when we talk about impact, what do you want your living legacy to be? Why is this necessary? Why does it feel like oxygen? Why now is so important? Because clarity is the ultimate accelerator. And that's why in the work that we do in my business as a business mentor, we always say the measure of success is three things. And there's three distinct phases of the journey of working with us. One, it's getting clear. Two, it is positioning yourself as the must hire because you know what you stand for. And three is the results that are not just once in a blue moon. They are predictable, and you know how to curate them, create them, and leverage them for long-term scalable, profitable growth. And it always starts with clarity. And that's why my business is called Clear Acceleration Incorporated. It is so important. And so if you're thinking right now, I feel a little called out, Christine, I don't know what I want, I'm going to say BS with great love. You know what you want. And maybe it's the place and time where you think, I want to whisper it, but I'm not sure I'm ready to roar it, because going after your dreams requires you to be visible. It requires you to be the engine. It requires you to say, non-negotiably, I am in. You can choose your speed. You can choose who goes with you on the journey, but you know that you cannot simply ignore that ember, that little spark that has been there all along. When we are born creators. We are born curious. We are explorers of the world around us. And at that very young age, they have that genesis of spark lit. It's our purpose. It's why we are here in this cycle. And if you continue to ignore it, trust me, I've ignored mine on times and times in my life. It comes back again. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's likely because there's a spark that says, I'm ready to amplify. I'm ready to go from whispering it to getting more vocal, to getting more visible, to creating the building blocks to create big ripples in the universe. And it feels like I might need a guide. So in today's episode, I want to give you the guidance. This is what I say to myself. This is what I said to my best friends when we're debating, do you really know what you want? Are you on the path you wanted? If not, it is time to take a course correction. But it's the first thing to do is sit and listen, strip back the label, strip back what it needs to look like that's socially acceptable, and say, what is it that truly feels like oxygen to you? And just let that sit with it for a period of time. And then I want you to think the second step of this journey, which is, if you can see a vision of what you want, there's a distance between that future reality and your current self. You need to identify what the gaps are. Awareness is the first step of clarity. And recognize that nobody sees a vision and can get there without actions and skills and development and commitment. But the first thing you need to do is get honest on where are your gaps, and invite yourself to say, how do I fill those gaps? You need to create a roadmap. You need to recognize that, yes, there's various options of creating those bridges of filling the gaps. You can, of course, learn and develop on your own. You can invest in courses or programs to help you. You can be surrounded by communities of other people who model how they got there so that you can see alternate options out there. And of course, you can ask somebody to mentor you to get there. It's important that you decide that there are going to be actions required. And actions are going to be the key to everything. And that's why so often here on this program, and if you spend any time in my business world, you'll know that I talk about movement. Focus on the movement. Movement is what builds momentum. And focusing on one step is so much easier than focusing on the 10. But if you can see that vision, you need to tap into it. It needs to pull you towards it because it needs to be your non-negotiable. And you need to realize where the gaps are personally on the steps you might need to take to get there. Because it's not enough just to see the vision. You do have to see the steps. And trust me when I tell you that while you may, for certainty reasons, want to know all 10, the truth is the moment you take the first one, the dominoes will change. And the moment you take the next one, the dominoes will change. And that is as it should be. It is constantly evolving. And so are you. And so are the opportunities, because every time you take a little more step of action, the clarity gets clearer. And you need to sit and assess, now that I see more clearly, which pulls me closer to the vision, and is the vision the same, or is the vision evolving because I see more potential? I will tell you, every day I want to get out of bed for potential. I love ideas of possibility, and I love, for me as a mentor, to see vision, to hear what you want, to listen critically and say, sounds good. Is it true? Is it your truth? And if it is, how do I help you get there? What are the questions you might need to think about, and how can I help you brainstorm the alternatives so that you can take informed choice, decisions, and actions towards moving towards that piece of the puzzle that you see as the next right step? But you have got clear on what it is you want to do. You've identified the gaps that exist in today's reality. You are starting to build a roadmap thinking about the most important question on the roadmap. If it's not the one you think, it is not how do I do it? Because that's honestly the least important. It is the easiest trap we get caught into, but it is not how that's important. It's who. Who do I need with me on the journey to guide me, to support me, to encourage me, and to believe in me? You might be one of the who, but you might not be the only who in the circle that creates the movement that reaches the result. And as you're taking steps, what's critically important here is not that you focus on the perfection and the end goal. Because in business, here's the hint nobody tells you, it is not a destination, it is a progression, and it is constantly evolving. So don't get caught up in, I will only see success when I hit the goal. Trust me, enough of us type A personalities get out of bed to hit the goal and go, now what? It's not the goal that matters. It's the progression. It is expected that you will evolve. You must invest, commit, support into developing skills, capability, confidence. And along that journey, it is the progression that matters. So one of the most important things that I did in hindsight, I'm so glad that somebody recommended it to me because it is such a rewarding piece of the puzzle today, is keep track of that progress. And you can do that. I personally was gifted a 5-year business journal. So I've been marking my journey every day for 5 years into this business. And it is remarkable. The moments I start to go, I feel like I'm never getting anywhere, I go back into just remind you while you're writing in today's journal, what happened a year ago? What happened a couple of years ago? And it's amazing, I will tell you, how my business has evolved. And it reminds me to focus on that evolution and to celebrate the progress. You only get better by action. You have to move beyond the theory because you can have all of the knowledge in the world, but if you do not apply it, you do not see that vision become closer to your current reality. And that's why the calling keeps coming back to you saying, hello, you've been called to do this. Why are you not stepping up? And the answer is likely fear. Well, fear is overcome when you have good inner circles and you stop asking how. You start asking who. And then you say, this is someone who can guide me. This is somebody whose energy I need to be around. This is somebody who I want to model their behavior. And I see the future me, and I will model them to create and shorten that bridge of the steps that I must overcome in the gaps that I have today. And finally, the final piece of the puzzle is to rise. I said you get clear. You become the must hire. You're rising to that expectation. You're rising to the possibility and then seeing possibility expand. You're rising to the occasion. And you're recognizing that for every step in the journey, you're building mastery. When people choose to invest with you as a business owner, they want somebody who has mastered something. And mastery isn't perfection. Mastery is a commitment to learning, an ever commitment. And they say her destination is moving. I can see the vision she's creating. I want to be part of a community, team, and business that is future focused. You need to be future focused. So if I asked you that question, what do you want? I want you to sit and listen because inside of you is the answer. Drop the labels. Drop the expectations of how it needs to look. You get to create it. You were the creator at the beginning. You are the creator in this chapter. And to create, you need to listen, whisper, and then roar that story. And if you feel compelled to roar, and you know that crescendo, that need that said, it is time, then I want you to sit and listen to this episode. You need to get clear, write it down. Don't judge yourself. Don't let anybody else judge you. Identify the gaps of where you are and where you want to go. And ask the most important question, which is, who do I need with me in the inner circle? Not how will I get there? How will become evident as you start taking actions. And as you take actions, that's the roadmap. You need to have a game plan. You need to have a strategy. It does need to flex. Different opportunities will come along the way. Different plot twists will be encountered, but your vision to pull you must stay the same. And as it evolves, take really clear looks of saying, is it evolving in ways of possibility, or is it evolving because I'm afraid to go for it? And if you're afraid, stop asking how. Go back to who. And next, you want to remember that progress and evolution is the whole point. It is not a destination. You don't one day wake up and say, this is the business and it is this just stagnant point. To keep growing as a human being, you must evolve. You must commit to that. And progress is a focus. That is the measure of success. And so maybe you want to do like me and keep a 5-year journal. And finally, I want you to rise. Rise to the potential within. You have an opportunity to really do something amazing with your time here on this earth. Please, please, please listen within. If you need support, subscribe to this podcast. Come and spend some time in my ecosystem. I help people with those 3 foundations in the world of business. You must create the foundations to have repeatable success. Who you need on the journey matters. I help clients build an audience of buyers, master their marketing message, and get clear on the offer that creates compelling results that are valued. And we do that together. This is a guided approach to success. One of the hottest debates I have with my friend group, with myself, with my clients is, who do you want to be? I'd love for you to drop me a note. Find me on social media, ChristineCampbellRapin.com. You'll be able to connect to me on all platforms through that website. Tell me, who are you? What do you want? And then the third most important part of that puzzle is, what do you stand for? If you need some help getting that clarity, I want to know how I can support you. So ask. Let me connect you to some resources. Let me connect you to your calling and breathe life into it. Be sure to subscribe. This has been Amplify Your Marketing Message. If you want to amplify anything, get clear. Answer honestly. Construct it, create it, go after it, and celebrate the journey. Thanks for being here. We will see you all on our next episode. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.